Welcome to DC.
And here it comes. Swing and a miss. And a World Series Game 7 winning Curly W is in the books.
Dagger! It's 1974. The Washington Capitals are the 2018 Stanley Cup champions.
Don't like that. I like that.
You gotta like that, right?
Despite all this, despite the churn, my approval ratings keep going up.
We are ready to give our 500% support back to this franchise, back to this city, back to this team after Snyder leaves. And then this is the poo-poo you put on the field.
For the very first time, the Washington Mystics are WNBA champions.
The Washington Commanders select Jaden Daniels.
I'm going to support fake teams that can't ruin my life.
Did you call bank? I call game.
Thank you. Sorry to keep you waiting. Complicated business.
Oh boy, Washington DC, this is the show that records once a week and tries to fill in everything we possibly can in a 1 hour crazy time slot. Sometimes we go over. Tonight has that feel for sure of a show that's going to go significantly over. It's one of these weeks, boys, where someone's going to have to start by just explaining to me what the NFL tampering season or whatever this thing is that happens mid-March every year. How is this happening, right? Like the legal tampering has started, but within 30 seconds of it started, there's 15 deals that are being announced and people are getting signed and traded, and it's crazy. And FP, this is your, you told me earlier, we got to push the recording here. We got to wait for LP. This is his Super Bowl. Of course, he's not here. We'll pull him in when he shows up. But I mean, this is the Super Bowl of the offseason. And historically, this is where the Skins, the football team, and the Commanders, not so much, have kind of made their big splash, right? The big free agent signing or the big trade. In this case, it was a big trade. What is your just gut feeling going into this season with your boy, at the helm, making all the deals and calling all the shots, his first real season here in charge, Adam Peters?
Well, I think, first of all, tampering means retiring contracts have expired, so they can their agents can talk to people and flirt with other teams, but nothing's official until
There's
Wednesday.
no way they started today. That's my thing, right? This idea of legal, the conversations didn't start at 12:01 and everybody got signed at
It's more of a wink thing where, yeah, you probably have agents discussing with other teams, but technically the player cannot be in communication with the new team until today at noon. And then that's when they kind of say verbal agreement. Yep, that's the deal. I'm good. I agree. Right. And then the NFL teams are like, great, we got our guy. And then on Wednesday, it's pen to paper and you're done. Right. Wednesday, you'll see everybody's social media and Instagram posts be like, welcome to the team, so-and-so, whatever. You'll see all the social media teams actually welcome these players. As far as the DC team, I think one of the biggest moves today was AP, and it was that trade for basically a foundational breakout Pro Bowl left tackle in Tunsil. And the thing with that trade is nobody was aware. The Schefters, the Ian Rappaports, nobody was aware that AP was moving in silence, holding things close to his chest and getting this trade going. There was no whispers of Tunsil being on the trading block. There was no whispers of the Texans wanting to get rid of him. And then lo and behold, some of the moves that we were trying to make free agency, I think we're trying to get the Ravens left tackle or whatever, all of those fell apart. But AP in the background is just like, all right, well, here's the trade package. And he brings us in a huge piece for this O-line. And I mean, if you bring in Stevie, you bring in anybody, two of the biggest complaints that we had after the season was the trenches, right? O-line, D-line. And then the first thing AP does, he brings in Kinlaw, right, as a D tackle. Some people are questioning the amount of money to that, but then you also bring in Tunsil with the left tackle, and it's just two quote unquote big pieces that bolster those lines. But the Tunsil trade specifically, it's just that is exactly what you need to do when you have a Jaden Daniels, because now that you can move Coleman either to left guard or even to right tackle, and Wiley slides down until Cosme comes in, whatever, your line has gotten significantly better than what it was last year. And last year they showed with Jaden at the helm that they're a serviceable line. But now you've gotten even better with one of the better pass pro tackles. It's a fantastic, fantastic move.
Yeah, my first knee-jerk reaction, of course, like just shooting from the hip, FP was, I don't love this move. It's a lot of draft capital for an older player. 5 years Pro Bowl, the last 3 consistent, the last 3 years all Pro Bowl seasons for Tunsil. But then the more, like, I was following the chat as much as I could. Today's been a crazy day, not just in the NFL, but like in real life too. I think the kids say IRL, right? In real life. I just learned that. Anyway, as I'm following and kind of just watching it all unfold, if he gives you 3 or 4 solid seasons, this is a slam dunk win, right? I mean, you look at the last amazing super stud Stevie's boy left tackle that we had here. He's still playing Pro Bowl caliber football well into his mid 30s and beyond. So at 30, yes, he's older. I don't think that's a bad thing. Like I think you needed to do this. And really, and I'm going to throw it here to Andy in just a second. I know everything's happening today, but this all was set in motion, in my opinion anyway, with Jonathan Allen, seeking, basically things started to take shape last week. You still got Fowler running, being upset that he hasn't been re-signed. Like there's things that were already happening behind the scenes. For the life of me, you're not going to convince me that like all of this just happened miraculously, right? While nobody was paying attention. But in the end, I mean, Andy, like this is the biggest splash, out there. And to FP's point, it wasn't a free agent splash. It was a brokered trade behind the scenes to bring him in. And they were, and again, we know that the Commanders were flirting with potentially Morgan Moses, bringing him back. They were talking to, I think you listed off a couple others. The guy from the Ravens, I'm blanking on his name, but in the end, AP had a backup plan, which turned out to be great. And honestly, 4 picks, it seems like a lot, but if he gives you 4 or 5, or if God blesses us further and we get 6 years, is a slam dunk.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think none of us as Commanders fans are used to this kind of like Dark Knight, like movement in the background, right? With the Snyder administration, right? Like everybody knew what we were going to do before we were going to do it. There was no secrecy. That was his thing. Like, hey, we're going to go out. We're going to get the biggest guy. Look at me. The spotlight's on our team over here. Headlines. Everybody look at me, right? Nobody's used to this kind of movement. Nobody's used to this. And AP hasn't done anything yet. He hasn't missed. Last year, I don't think he had a single miss. So I trust AP. And
it depends on if you ask Joe about Lattimore, but yeah.
I think Lattimore.
Sure,
I think
here we go again.
No, I've
please.
cooled off. Okay, but I think the jury's still out on Lattimore. I don't think you can say it was a slam dunk. I don't think you can say that the team was
and that's the same with Kinlaw.
Marketably better, right? Kinlaw.
That's fair.
Kinlaw, if you look, I mean, by every metric I've seen, FP, he's not the run stopper that that the team needed, right? He's a piece, and maybe overpaid just a little bit. The
Definitely overpaid.
Market seems to be resetting really, really quickly on edge rushers. But like, did you really get anything with him that you didn't have in Allen?
Yeah,
like,
actually, I think you did.
Fair and very reasonable. What are they getting? What's better?
I think you did. So, I mean, this was the first time me hearing this term before. Elephant edge or elephant.
I love that Andy brings in the same points that I was going to bring.
Got you, baby. Yeah. So this.
Well, what is that?
Teach Joe some football.
Buffalo nickel. This just reeks of Buffalo nickel.
Just teach Joe some
football. Ron Rivera here.
Shut up, Joe. Let Andy
the
speak.
only thing that I was going to say about that is that he fits the mold to the scheme that Dan Quinn and Witt and our guy Joe Witt wants to. Like this guy, he's going to fit the scheme. He definitely was a little bit overpaid, in my opinion. But I trust them, and I trust the scheme that they're trying to run. And I think he's the kind of guy, his talents, his body type, for the scheme that they want to run.
More about his body type.
I will tell you, the
320 pounds.
The Jets actually asked him to gain 20 to 30 pounds. He's supposed to be a little bit lighter, a little bit more agile, a little bit better footwork, and the Jets completely mismanaged it. And he still had 4.5 sacks and 40 tackles or whatever, and he played the whole season. So he kind of put to rest that he's injury prone because he got through a whole season. But then the Jets mismanaged and there was turnover and turmoil, whatever on that side. But if he is used to his true skill set, and we've seen Dan Quinn squeeze a lot of juice out of a lot of berries.
Would you rather have that money gone? Why not just pay Jonathan Allen at that point?
Because what is Jonathan Allen actually delivering you on to warrant that money? He is now getting into his injury-prone era, and he is now declining on his performance. So if you take an outlier on a guy that coming into the draft, like he was a first-round draft pick, his scouting report was, you just found Aaron Donald 2.0, right? If he gets you to 80% of an Aaron Donald, if he can truly become a disruptor,
sure. If it's a potential thing, that okay, then it's a wait and see situation, right?
But I mean, if you're looking at Dan Quinn and Joe Witt and you're seeing what they got out of this defense last year,
well,
and how they're making it work,
I think for them to, I think you have to look at that Cowboys team that they left and really look at how much the scheme made a difference. Yes, Micah's amazing, but in the end, right, when the coaching changed, the scheme, even though they tried to execute it the same way, it changed too. And then I do have I'm going to come back to the Cowboys because I think it's very notable that what they've done today, which is nothing. We'll come back to that. But staying on the Commanders here for just a second, I hate that Jeremy Chin isn't coming back. I got to be honest here. Like De'Ami Brown, I felt like after that Lions game, somebody was going to pay him, right? And I'm happy for him. 1 year, $10 million. Like I'm not going to fault the guy for taking the money and going, especially with seemingly Peter's still working and doing stuff to this receiving core. I think Luke is going to, McCaffrey will replace him kind of in that, random XY role where he just comes in that spot, stretch the field. I think that's going to be Luke long-term. I am happy for De'Ami Brown. I'm not super upset that he's leaving. I'm happy for him, but Jeremy Chin, I'm upset we're losing him because I think he played a phenomenal year and he was deserving. And it's not like the Raiders paid him some astronomical amount of money. I would have liked to see him come back.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all would have liked to see him come back, and that one stings a little bit. But Percy Butler, Quan Martin, and whatever free agents are still out there, I think we want the guy from the Dolphins. I forgot his name. But there's still a couple pushes out there in free agency that you can probably bring in that might even be cheaper than Chin. I mean, he had a fantastic season. It hurts. But I think safety wasn't as much of a depth issue where you can allow Chin to explore the market and he went and he got paid, right? And the bigger thing to think of this, and this goes back to Jonathan Allen, is this is a team, kind of to echoing what Andy was saying, this is a team that all of a sudden, right, you're moving in silence, you have no moles, you have no leaks, but on the other side, when it comes to player relations, you're showing respect to the guys that need to be shown respect. You're telling Jonathan Allen, like, listen, man, this is great. We respect your time here, but, out of respect to you, go ahead, talk to other teams, see what's out there for you, go get your money. Right?
A week early.
A week early. Yeah. And you did the same thing with Chin. He was probably told earlier, but it just didn't make the news cycle. Like, hey, you played a hell of a season. Go out there, get your money. If we can afford to keep you, we will. If you find something better, go. But that goes a long way in next season, the season after, and when you're trying to build and
with everyone else in the locker room,
yeah,
right away, right? Like
and all the free agents that are out there, right? When Adam Peters comes calling, they're like, all right, let me bust my ass for a contract. At the end of that contract, if I'm not happy, if I want to move on, whatever, they know that they'll be dealt with in a respectful way, and they'll be able to still kind of take care of themselves and their families, which we never used to do.
My issue here, though, is that they still have that they have to do something different. Like all of the guys, Andy, you put it in the chat. What is the size on our new guy? I'm blanking on the name.
6'5",
like 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm exhausted. Yeah. What's the size?
He's
Give me the body.
Gigantic. 6'5", 320. Just
so
to kind of
how's that
in perspective? Yeah, exactly. Jonathan Allen was like 6'2", 265.
But talk to me about like Newton. That's my boy. Talk to me about Johnny Newton. Is he comparable in size? Because Newton is
he's
big
a speedster.
Newton, I think. God, I remember looking it up. Honestly, I think Newton's smaller.
Smaller in weight. I think he was
smaller.
I think he was like 6'3", 290, something like that.
If he's got like earth mover type build, I can get on board with that. If he's gonna literally require 2 bodies to hold him in place,
actually
jam up.
Speaking of, I actually looked up Jalen Carter. I put it in our chat. Jalen Carter, the guy from the
Carter. That's not a fair comparison though. Carter's a freak,
but he's smaller.
He's smaller, but his skill set, I don't think that's a reasonable.
No, but see, that's what I'm saying. I don't think you can look at Kinlaw's skill set and what you saw with the Jets and what he had with the Niners before they traded him, and deem that who he is. Because if the Jets are like, hey, get fatter and hold down the line, that's one thing. But if his thing is, I'm actually more of a Jalen Carter size and I can explode off the line, and you have him and Newton both exploding and becoming disruptors, and Payne kind of holding down.
It sounds like overall, though, you guys are okay with one move. And Andy, you didn't officially say anything, but as far as Laramie Tunsil, thumbs up, thumbs down?
I am. So when it first hit, when we first got the news that we got Tunsil, I wasn't as excited as the rest of the guys, because I guess the whole shtick that we were given is we're going to build through the draft, right? We were hoarding draft picks, and we were super excited to build from the draft. So when I heard the news, hey, we just traded for this, I thought at the time, a 30-year-old left tackle. I watched some of his games last year, and FP made some pretty good points about CJ and the wide receiver core, and they were kind of a little bit broken on offense. So I was like, are we really getting who we think we're getting? And we're giving up our draft picks, and the whole idea is built through the draft. So I wasn't as excited, but as the day progressed and time went on, I was like, this guy's still elite. This guy still protects the quarterback at a high level.
3 seasons in a row, right? Pro Bowl. I mean, you could say what you want about CJ's regression. I don't think you could put that on Tunsil or the offensive line, but overall value wise, right? 4 picks. I mean, I think it's a really good trade. I think
it's fair.
If getting their 4th this year definitely helps.
Well, yeah, it takes the pressure off of having. Because otherwise, what were you going to do if Morgan Moses, who's a fan favorite here, if he wasn't willing to come back, if you weren't going to find another, reasonably priced free agent, right? Like, at least in this case, like, you don't have to go the draft route and cross your fingers and hope and pray that you get somebody who can play the position, a la Chris Samuels or Trent Williams, like all these guys that we've been lucky with in the past. You're getting an actual known commodity who can, even at 50 or 60%, is an upgrade over everyone else that you rolled out in that position. It's a very safe move.
You really need to realize that you really hit on Coleman last year. So being able to have him move down into left guard or bolster the right side of the line, that's huge. And then you also have to look at every move that AP has done as far as your free agent signings, going all the way back to Lattimore, and how that translates to the draft. Because realistically, you have a low first-round draft pick. If you're not going to find a way to package that for a stud free agent or a trade, realistically, I would not be surprised to see us trade back that first round and get a lot of the picks that we sacrificed for a Debo, for a Tunsil, for a Kinlaw, for a Lattimore.
What he was doing, all of a sudden, this is what AP was doing. Like, I mean, in the last week, we've said goodbye. We've said goodbye to Allen. We've said goodbye to Chin. We've said goodbye to De'Ami Brown. You added Debo Samuel. You added You've re-signed basically your every tight end on your roster. You've got Bates is coming back, Ertz is coming back, Wagner's coming back, C-Rod's coming back. You've added Debo, Laramie Tunsil, the guy that I can't remember his name, the big daddy on the D-line. I don't know why I can't remember. Thank you, Kinlaw.
And you basically subbed out 3 guys that you liked, but you brought in a collective 10 Pro Bowl seasons back into your roster. Between the 3 of them, removing Kinlaw, that's 10 Pro Bowl seasons, right? If you get
a lot,
you're not going to get 100% of that productivity back, but if you get close to it, right? If the change of scenery, if the player rankings and grading for everything that we have now with Quinn and the ownership and the facilities and training, if all of that is as good as it is, maybe you do get a lot of productivity out of these guys.
And don't forget Jaden Daniels, right? Like he elevates everybody. He makes everybody better. And I think they're doing the right thing by bringing all these experienced, wily vets around Jaden now. Like, you don't want to surround him with rookies or maybes or could hits or could not hits, right? Like, these are proven men. And I think this is the right move. This is the safe move.
Yeah, well, I mean, it also, somebody said it in our offline chat too. Like, this confirms that no matter what, they're going for it.
100%.
This is it. Like, they are all in. I want to
look at what Allen got paid. Jaden Daniels, he's going to get $500 million.
I mean,
it's happening. It's happening. By the time his rookie contract's up, but that's just the QB market. By the time that rookie contract's up, he's going to get 5-6 years, $500 million guaranteed. It's going to be insanity.
But is it? I mean, I didn't want to do a Josh Allen bit, but like, is anybody worth that kind of money?
To the Bills, Josh Allen is.
That's tough. It's tough. I want to
percentages.
I want to bring in LP in here to talk. Our MLS insider here wants to talk about the NFL. So let's bring in LP. This is your Super Bowl. I know you're super excited about it. What's your thought here on Laremy Tunsil? Like, overall, thumbs up, thumbs down?
100% thumbs up. This is a shift in strategy. AP is winning now. I mean, you said this just 2 minutes ago, but it's completely shifted from, we had 9 draft picks this year. We have 5 left this year. 9 last year, 5 this year, right? This is a win now move. Deebo Samuel is a win now move. 3 years. Laremy Tunsil, 3 to 5 years. I mean, if we're lucky, right? They're bolstering the offensive line. They're bolstering the defensive line. The big guy Kinlaw, right? We saw this with Philly. They had a good offensive line. They had a good defensive line. Of course, they had Saquon. They had A.J. Brown. But the game is still won in the trenches.
I mean, in the end, that's what was proven, right? That's literally what was proven.
Yeah.
We got past Detroit. Maybe you could say it was a little fluky, but in the end, Philly just was better than every other team they faced on the offensive and defensive lines. That's just the way it was. Around the league, like, looking at some of the other moves, FP, like, we've got. I mean, I tried to type in as many as I could into this box just to kind of keep it all straight. Adams going to the Rams. I actually love this, and if I don't know what the betting odds are. But if you told me right now, pick one team that you are the most certain would not only make the playoffs, challenge for the conference championship, and potentially playing the Super Bowl, I'm going with the Rams. I love what the Rams did. I see Andy smiling at me. I love what they did. They basically nipped all the nonsense around Matt Stafford just completely in the bud. Like, he's our guy. They traded for Adams. They're going to basically let Kupp walk, but they've rebuilt this team on the fly several times in the past. I love what the Rams are doing. You got Darnold going to the Seahawks, Metcalf to the Steelers. That one I don't understand for the life of me. Geno Smith somehow got a 3rd-round value back from the Raiders to the Seahawks. I don't get that one either. The Eagles lose Josh Sweat to the Cardinals. Justin Fields to the Jets. I don't get that one either. Like, so many people, like, marquee names that people would recognize and know moving. Is there one that stands out to you, Andrew? Like, one that just screams this team is either nuts or, genius?
I mean, not one that really screams out to me. Obviously, Davante Adams to the Rams. In my mind, for some reason, I'm thinking like greatest show on earth, like on turf, senior citizen edition. But I'm also curious how, like, the Geno Smith trade to the Raiders, right? Like, this is kind of a different spin on it. The Geno Smith trade to the Raiders, right? Like, how's that going to impact the draft? The Raiders had the number 6 pick in the draft this year.
Yeah.
Right. Like, that's going to kind of have a cascading effect on. I mean, I'm guessing they're not going to take a quarterback this year, right? If they made this move for Geno. Yeah.
Wait, they pull in Atlanta, trade for a quarterback and then, or sign a free agent and then draft his replacement. I don't think so.
The biggest thing for me, I mean, I'm staring at the little ticker at the bottom here. It's Metcalf to the Steelers. It's a weird one, right? Like,
it's very
linking him back up with Russell.
Russell's it's not going to be Russ. It's going to be Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
It's
okay. So you're thinking Aaron Rodgers going to Steelers?
Yeah, for sure. You think Rodgers is going to Steelers?
Yeah, it's happening. I think Davante Adams. I think the thing that we're not realizing here.
Do you agree with me or disagree with me that the Rams have done? I mean, we get leave the Commanders aside because we're all homers. Outside of the Commanders, I feel like the Rams have done the most to solidify and bolster their team. That's me. The Patriots have spent the most. The Cowboys have spent the least. I really like what the Rams are doing.
Actually, I think dark horse is going to be the Colts in their defense because they have Lou Anarumo now from the Bengals.
They got no one playing quarterback. They got
Anthony Richards. Yet another season. You never know. You never know.
And he can't stay healthy.
Maybe Aaron goes there.
Listen, all I'm saying is their defense got a lot stronger in the back end, right? But Davante Adams to the Rams, you need to remember that you're pairing up Davante Adams as a weapon to McVay, which is just going to be insanely scary.
And Stafford.
Insanely scary.
Stafford and Rodgers are not on the same level right now at this stage in their career.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Right, like that's not what's happening. I mean, Justin Fields move too, to me, really just a very odd one. Also, like, how many lives does this guy have? Like he, I don't know. I mean, Pickett got picked up. Where did Pickett sign?
Pickett went to the Browns.
Went to the Browns. Like that's another one that I remember reading about it and saying it's very interesting because you would think the Browns, of all the teams, the Browns would make the biggest splash, try to go get the quarterback or do something, and they, they're willing to take a shot on a retread, at least for a season or two. I think they did. I think they restructured Deshaun's contract, if I'm not mistaken. Again, I think. I'm surprised he's still in.
I remember reading that somewhere, but I don't know the details. I remember reading something.
They did. They restructured and gave themselves a little cap room.
Yeah,
and I think
is Devontae Adams really any better than Cooper Kupp?
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
He didn't. I mean, he had a horrible year.
Who invited this guy? It's 2:00 in the morning. We've been waiting forever for him to come on. It sounds like the airplane's taking off. He's literally got asses over his head that I'm staring at.
Listen, there's one move that I think we're not that happened. I think at the start of this show.
Yeah, Chase Young to
that one is
3 years, $51 million for Chase.
Yeah, terrible overpay.
How much?
But I was 3 years.
$1 million, 3 years.
Million.
That is a lot of money for Chase.
I was actually going to say Najee Harris to the Chargers also happened.
Oh, I like that one.
That is very good for the Chargers because they had backup saddle from the Ravens, J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards or whoever. Like they didn't have real weapons back there.
But there's a lot of teams that have been just making moves in general. Like, I mean, obviously, Josh Palmer going to the Bills. I know he can't stay healthy, but he's a good receiver. Nobody knows who he is because he played for the Chargers, or he sometimes played for the Chargers. And obviously, I think in the Patriots, I mean, I'm looking at what the Patriots did. Joshua Dobbs, Mac Hollins, re-sign Hooper, steal Morgan Moses from the Jets. Landry Williams, Tonga, like they were very active. Justin Fields, again, it's just an odd one. Like, what have you seen from Justin Fields that says he's capable of quarterbacking your team to the playoffs? Because the Jets need to go to, that is their mark for success, right? I mean, that is the most.
I mean, that whole draft class of QB play is just weird. Zach Wilson just went back to is on the Dolphins, so he's back in the East. That whole shuffle of the QB,
and Miles.
The Patriots are running away with. The Bills are running away with the East. I don't think Drake May is going to have that great of a second season.
I agree, but
Zach Wilson is interesting to the Dolphins because I think
Tua was injured every 15 seconds.
Yeah, and I think McDaniels can make something out of him because he was actually a good quarterback. He just had horrible coaching, right? When he came out of college, I mean, he was a stud.
Well, I mean, Darnold, it's the Jets' curse, man. Like these guys, nobody succeeds in playing for the Jets.
Yeah, it's because you have an owner that cares about Madden ratings.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm not going to crap on anybody's owner because we suffered for how many years? I mean, I'm not going to poo-poo on anybody. I understand how painful that can be, but you look at the Browns. I mean, Myles Garrett, that whole arc was very fascinating too, right? Requesting trade.
A liar.
Well, I mean, that's a strong word. I mean, all it proves is that everyone's got a price. Turns out 123 million is the price.
He is quoted saying, I think it was on either Pat McAfee or Rich Eisen, I don't care how much money the Browns give me.
Yes.
I want to go to a competitor.
But isn't it interesting that you would imagine that they went to him, FP, and said, we're going to pay you a boatload of money. Just stick with us. We're going to go out and make this team better. And then the first day of tampering, it's Kenny Pickett, right?
No, they're going to draft Cam Ward or somebody. They're going to draft a QB for sure.
Yeah, but it's a business, right? You got to look at it from the player's perspective. Jonathan Allen, Homer, right? Born and raised in the area, did everything for the team. We let him go.
California.
Right? No. Jonathan Allen's from Ashburn.
He went to
I heard Josh Allen. Sorry. It was
Jonathan Allen. Right? So from a player's perspective, go get your money. I'm not going to ever knock a player for that. Who cares? Play the game. And he played the game. I mean,
yeah, I mean,
he's getting paid. So
the Jags were very active today too. Aside from De'Ami Brown, 10 million, 1 year, 10 million. Nick Mullins, a bunch of players. The Jags signed a bunch of Jags, including Jordan Lewis, who's actually a pretty good corner. The Titans have done nothing. I mean, that's a team that I don't know what they're doing. The Broncos didn't really do anything. The Chiefs re-signed Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown, to I think a 1-year deal. Just kind of flipping through it here.
You also have to realize our forced upon us rivalry with the Bears.
Yeah.
Ben Johnson went out there and he solidified that O-line. He got a lot of guys, and that O-line is now significantly better. But it's funny because the whole selling point of Caleb is I could escape the pocket, right? I'm flashy, mobile, escape. They got the center from the Falcons. They got you're gonna have to bring up the names.
I mean, I'm looking at their moves. They got tight end Durham Smith, and then
they went guard center.
Yeah, Jonah Jackson, Joe Thuney, and then the center is Drew Dallum. Yeah, I'm looking at it.
But they solidified. They very clearly, and they got the D tackle from the Falcons as well too.
I don't see that one.
It's hard. It was a hard day for Twitter to go down today.
It's not a good day. You're right. You're right. I'll be honest though. Like, I actually had to work today, so every time I looked at my phone and it was 65 new WhatsApp messages, it was tough to keep up with it. The two things though, I mean, we already talked about the Patriots spending basically on everybody, everywhere, all the time. What do you make of the Cowboys basically doing nothing? Like, I find it fascinating that I feel like the Cowboys are going to start leaking casual fans, just as the Commanders now are starting to pick up all the casual fans. Like I love this because we hate them and their rivals and all that stuff. But I'm very surprised that given what's been happening with the Cowboys, Jerry's not spending, really doing anything.
One move.
Javonte Williams.
Yeah, they got the running back from Denver. I mean, he wasn't.
Yeah, but the Cowboys have been doing that for a couple years now. They haven't spent in free agency in a couple years.
If you're a Cowboys fan and you love Jerry and Jerry wants to win, he let McCarthy go. McCarthy, and I'm on the record saying this, I thought he did a great job down the stretch coaching a team that didn't have a whole lot of talent on it. That's just my opinion. He let him go. He brings in what's his face? I'm blanking on the Schottenheimer, right? He brings in a basically a rookie head coach, and then there's nothing. Like I mean, I'm looking Javonte Williams. Okay, they re-signed their dude Osa. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that last name.
The bigger headline with the Cowboys is they're doing what the Commanders used to do, the Redskins used to do, and they're gonna let a lot of their homegrown talent, a la Micah Parsons, maybe escape their
I would
grasp.
love for him to be a Commander
Because Jerry is taking so long with this wait and see how the market plays out mindset.
Sure.
And he's either gonna cost so much more than he needed to cost, because you look at it now, right? Like Kinlaw just went for 35-40. Chase Young just went for 51. If Micah Parsons is like, hey, I want my money, he's going to be looking at Myles Garrett.
What did he do to deserve $51 million?
No, nobody knows. I don't know how Chase Young has 9 lives. I'll tell you that much.
But that's a ridiculous number for him.
Yeah, well, the Saints have never been good with their cap, and
he had a very average year last year too.
He had like 21 pressures or something stupid like that. But that's why the Saints are always in cap hell, and they're going to lose all of their homegrown talent as well.
That's true.
That's fair. I mean,
is Mickey Loomis still the GM of the Caps and the Pelicans? He's the GM of both.
You mean the Saints and the Pelicans?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think he is.
Or like VP of something.
He's a decision maker that keeps making the wrong decisions
for 2 sports.
Yeah.
I want to touch on just 2 more things. I like what the Cardinals are doing. I don't know if you guys care about the Cardinals, but I like the Josh Sweat sign there. I mean, the Eagles are losing some valuable pieces. Obviously, they extend Saquon, and Saquon's worth every penny of his 2-year extension. But Sweat is a 4-year deal, 4-year, $41 million. That seems like really good value for the Cardinals for the production that they got out of Sweat. And I just want to touch on the Rams one more time. I love Garoppolo coming back and Stafford being solidified. I don't know why you're so down on it, but I think Devontae and Tutu.
Nobody's down on it.
I think
we're down on Jimmy G is non-newsworthy.
Well, I mean, he's a quarterback. I mean, he's a quarterback who can run an offense, right? I mean, that's in the end, that's what it is. I mean, the 49ers, I expect the 49ers to completely fall off.
The 49ers, yeah, they're coming into some painful times. They just
let Juszczyk walk.
Juszczyk walk. Greenlaw is going to Denver. They lost a lot of big
But
pieces. Their safety went to. I think he also went to Denver.
Denver
Denver just
safety left.
treating.
Yeah,
The right guard left.
I'm not a
and a
huge.
tackle.
I was never a big Geno guy. Sam Darnold is an upgrade over Geno, right?
Yes.
Right.
I think so.
I think Minnesota
Depends on which Sam Darnold you get. Do you get?
No, I think it depends on the OC.
Yeah,
I think he thrived in a Shanahan OC.
I think if I'm Darnold, I stay with the Vikings. I think you've got two incredible talents to the left and right of you playing wide receiver. You've got a very good running back in Aaron Jones who can rumble for a couple.
I don't think they wanted him, Joe. They didn't want him.
I know, but I feel like you can always go and make a pitch. Like I'm surprised that they. I mean, what are they going to do at quarterback?
I mean, next year he's going to be back up to McCarthy.
Yeah,
they spent a high draft pick on a rookie.
Yeah. It's one more season though to win it back. It's one. I mean,
this is
literally built offensively to win today.
This is the first time Minnesota has gone against the Minnesota formula where they peak with the nobody and then they bring in the big free agent name, right? So think, what was his name before Kirk?
Keenum.
Keenum to Kirk. Kirk's your drop off. Then your nobody of Sam Darnold, right? Typically what the Vikings would then do is get the Aaron Rodgers, get the big splash name guy. But now they're saying like, all right, let's just bring in Geno. Let's have our homegrown talent have a competition and see if that works, right? See if that maybe is what helps us continue on. It's good that the Vikings didn't keep Darnold and have him fall off, right? Like,
and that's fair.
I'd like to see Rodgers in
$100 million. I mean, that's a. Nobody's going to say
price.
No. It's a big price, but the Seahawks also are signing a guy. Like if you're Darnold and you sign there, Metcalf is traded and Tyler Lockett walked. So like you look at that entire division, the Rams should win it handily.
Yeah.
Right? Like maybe the Cardinals are a little bit risk-averse, but I expect the 49ers and the Seahawks to fall off or slip quite
especially if they decide to actually give what's his face money, QB Purdy.
Well, I mean, they shouldn't do that either, to be honest. I think that's a bad move too.
I want to see craziness. I want to see Shanahan get his Kirk connection. I want to see craziness.
Yeah, where's Kirk linked right now?
Nowhere.
It sounds like
under contract with a no trade clause.
It sounds like
if Shanahan comes calling, Kirk's saying yes.
He's going to play. He wants to play.
He'll take a discount for Shanahan.
Yeah, he might say no to play, with DeVito and the Giants, but I think the Giants want Rodgers. Does anyone? I think that's his most probable landing spot.
I think it's Steelers right now, but after that, it might be Giants.
I don't know if the Steelers can have that type of Steelers. You got to keep in mind, Steelers Pittsburgh is a blue city.
You don't bring in a DK Metcalf if it's not for.
I understand. I don't. But Aaron is like the wrong personality.
Agreed.
I
don't think it's going to work out.
Even with Tomlin. Tomlin, right? Like
that city and those fans are not interested in a lot of what Aaron would have to say. Like it's a blue collar. It's just a different town.
They probably hate him.
They would absolutely. Also, Aaron Rodgers is too soft to play in the AFC North.
I mean,
he's too soft.
The Titans makes the most sense for him, but I don't think that.
I think Russ ends up on the Titans.
How is he soft? He played in Green Bay. How is that soft?
No, not weather.
Titans are going to draft a quarterback, guys.
Think they go Cam?
Titans are drafting a rookie. They're not going to pay.
No, I think they could go Russ on a discount.
They're getting their quarterback from the draft.
No.
So the Steelers. You're saying the Steelers are going to? I mean, they already moved Fields. They're going to move. They just rebuild the whole thing on a fly.
Yeah. No,
what was Russ's deal with the Steelers? Is he under contract with them? He is, right?
It was 1 year, one. No, it wasn't 3.
But it was one year team. I don't know. Any other notables that you're watching? I'm going to switch gears here. I want to talk about Ovi for a little bit before we get into other stuff. But any other notable free agents that you're still watching? I want to see where Jonathan Allen lands personally, and Fowler. It doesn't look like Dante Fowler is coming back on any type of deal with the Commanders. I mean, is there even a 2% chance that Jonathan Allen could come back? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Not after.
I just don't want him to go to the Bears. I really don't want him to go to the Bears.
I think he's visiting someone already.
He's going to the Vikings.
Vikings.
That's not great for us either. I mean, maybe Rodgers ends up on the Vikings to complete the Favre
timeline.
Favre bingo card. LP, any other thoughts on your favorite day of the year? Football, not MLS.
Kinlaw's deal just came out. 3 years, 45 million, 16 signing, 16.5 signing, 30 fully guaranteed. So that's really a 3-year, $30 million contract.
That's
That's
fine.
not a lot.
When you consider
That's
Chase got
significantly less
51,
than Jonathan Allen's going to get.
when you consider Chase got 51, you can't.
I mean,
complain.
that's value. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. All right, let's switch gears. I want to talk about Ovi. I watched a fair amount of Capitals hockey the last week, and
It's
I
fun,
watched
right?
the Open Net. It was a lot of fun. He is within 9 points.
9.
Within 9 points. How much Capitals did you consume last week? LP.
LP's on
minutes?
No, I watched a few minutes every game for sure.
Few minutes every. So highlights.
He ruined an overtime for me where
Yes,
I was
he
on
did.
a 5-minute
Yes, he
delay.
did.
Right. And LP never does that, so it was great.
LP never
great.
does
It was great to ruin it for all you guys.
How much MLS did you
West-
watch last week? You're the only person, by the way, watching MLS.
Oh,
in the
it's
country.
fantastic. I've watched every minute of the
The
DC United
saddest
games.
corner
How
for
are you watching every
It's
minute of
so
DC United
perfect.
over the Caps?
He's
Because,
literally
you know,
the
streaming
News Channel 8
sucks.
has a 1.1 rating, and it's just him.
No, it's not on News Channel 8 anymore. I'll tell you, streaming sucks. I hate streaming. Apple and the MLS package, they did it right. It's actually good.
That's
Every
streaming.
game. I know, but I'm saying they're the only ones who did it
You
right.
hate streaming.
He's saying he
I hate
usually
streaming,
hates streaming.
but they did it right. Every game, any game, you got pregame coverage, you got postgame coverage, you got
so
the every
bored.
goal,
God.
3-minute.
How much are
board,
you
got-
Venmoing the talking heads on the MLS pregame show?
What talking heads?
Nobody
He's one of the
watched
most prominent MLS talking heads in the
Yeah,
country.
It's great. It's great.
You're right. You know what? If we spun off an MLS like pregame show, we would kill.
Have
Like,
you
all the
ever
people that care.
ever seen somebody pay money
have a radio
out of their
party, too.
pocket for MLS gear? He's wearing an MLS hat right now.
I know. I didn't want to say anything.
I didn't even know they made MLS merchandise.
It's great. It's great.
Is there more MLS?
wear my-
is there
I'll wear
more
my DC United kit next
gear in and around DC or Defenders? I see Defenders stuff pop up from time to time. I don't hate it.
Defenders is like day drinking frat boy irony.
They do the
gear.
beer snake. Everybody's so excited
nobody's
about
a
the
real
beer snake.
fan. They just
I
want a
never
reason
see
to drink
DC
in the
United
summer.
gear. The only time I see DC United gear is at adult soccer games.
Which is the saddest thing. Okay, well, I'll come back to that. Okay, let's talk about Ovi here. Within 9, like 9 to go. This is going to happen.
Yes.
We have to find a way to make sure that the local announce team is calling.
Joby has to be on it.
It's a must, right?
Yeah.
Like even if it's a simulcast or a local broadcast for us here, like they have to find some way to do this, right?
Yeah, I mean,
They said they were going to find a way, even if it was the day after, that he would recall the game on Monumental.
Well, that
Yeah.
would be stupid.
no,
then
it would
you-
not be stupid.
Why? Just
It's
fire up
really-
Twitter and
it's
have
really-
him talk during the game. Just do it, somewhere else.
What if it's an ESPN Plus game and they don't have rights to it?
Freaking terrible.
I mean, like, it is, right?
I mean, they could just put a camera on him, like just have it play behind him or something, and you could do the call. I don't know. Like they got to find a way to do it. I don't want to listen to it the day after. No, well, what is that?
No, it's
He's gonna get-
it's a
The point
memory
is,
that will live
he's
forever.
going to get this. Like this is going to happen, and it's going to happen in the next couple of weeks.
It's
Sure. I'm still
insane
thinking
that
mid-April.
it's insane that he's like goal leader, right? He's the goal leader. Am I mistaken in that? Empty goal. I know he's empty net goal leader.
No, he
might
is
be.
the leader.
Is he? Oh, he's the overall goal leader right now for the NHL. Yeah,
He
it's
missed, he
insane.
missed a month with a broken. He missed a month with a broken
I
leg.
told you that missed month is going to come in clutch
He
for
pulled
him.
the LeBron and just did game management, right? And
Do
you
not bring up the
I know.
the flopper.
I'm gonna edit that
Oh
out before I
God,
publish.
yeah,
That-
Yeah.
he's not
disgusting.
LeBron. But it's
He's not slowing down. That's
the.
for sure.
No.
I mean, the city was on fire. Capital One was packed to the brim. I mean, everybody is
Because everyone's
Very
trying. Well, it's not going to happen now, but every game closer and closer and closer is going to be more and more sold out because everybody's going to want to be at that game. So when he gets within 4 or less, right, a hat trick away,
yes.
every game is going to be insanity.
What is the most goals he's ever scored in a game? Has he ever had a 4-goal game?
Yeah, I feel like he has.
I have no idea.
I feel like he might have.
I feel like he has. I mean, hat tricks for him in his youth came frequently as far
Yeah.
as hat tricks go.
I mean, he was wild with the spinning and behind the back and the whatever. Yeah. But they, I don't remember they were playing the Kraken. I watched the majority of my kids actually sat down and watched the second and third period. And
So fun to watch the Caps right now.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot
They
of
are
fun.
not the Caps of last season at all.
No, but I mean, you were very, very concerned about the curse. You want to talk about that a little bit?
The President's Trophy curse.
Yeah, like let's talk about that.
Yeah, well,
How do
you're kind of out of that right now. I think the Jets have a 2 or 3 point lead on us for that. I haven't checked after the Kraken game, but
He's had 4 goals in 2017, 2013, 2008, and 2007.
So it's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while, but we're looking like a month here, right? About a month. We're about a month away.
The trick is all the empty netters that are going to help him, right? So the team is playing so fast, so strong, and they're just resilient, right? Like even when they start slow, which they did, not the Kraken the game before. Forgot who it was.
Was it Jets?
No, it wasn't. Was it Ottawa? It may have been Ottawa.
The Maple Leafs, Avalanche, Blackhawks.
I think it was the Senators after the Rangers.
LP, how many teams
started
can
slow?
go?
The
it was
Ducks,
Ottawa.
the Red
It was
Wings,
Ottawa.
the
Utah
Flyers,
Hockey
the
Club.
Panthers, the
You're
Jets.
reading. You're like
the
one of
Wild.
the Gen Z kids that I interview, and they try to pretend like
Bruins.
they're not reading AI answers.
No, I could probably name all of them.
Did you know that Utah Hockey Club was a team?
Of course, I love the colors. I like the name too.
I don't think the
Well,
Mighty
I
Ducks
know.
are a team anymore. San Jose doesn't have a team, right?
The Mighty Ducks.
You guys know what's his face? Oh, God, what's his
Arizona
name?
Wild.
Rat Boy. Marchand?
Yeah, he's gone. He left Boston.
Yeah, he's such
That's a big
freaking
trade.
rat. He's their captain.
Yeah,
Traded him.
trading
Gone.
your captains.
Trading your captain is a game.
Not a every. It's not an everyday
Get the
occasion.
hell out of here. That's wild. That's wild.
Boston was like, we're done.
So just one last thought on Ovi here. Assuming he gets this, and he will get it, does he come back if they don't?
If you get a chip with it, he probably doesn't.
I don't want to say because I don't want to put it in the universe,
He
but
probably doesn't come back. But
if he gets the double, it's done. If he gets the record and then
there's
he
no
walked off,
better.
it's done.
Yeah.
Like there's no need to pad. Like, is anyone ever going to touch this again? I don't know. No one has a 22-year.
No chance.
No.
How many more
No
goals
chance.
does he have than Crosby?
Oh, he's
a lifetime. A lifetime. Is Crosby still playing?
Crosby's close with the points. I don't think he's close with the goals.
Yeah, no. This is untouchable territory, and I do want to do just a quick LeBron thing here because him and Sass got into it. The only thing worth noting, LeBron getting to 50,000 points is quite an accomplishment.
No, it is not. He's
being
played
healthy
for
20
78 years.
Being
He
healthy
did play for a
all
long
that time,
time.
though. FB is like he's
Listen,
not a like do you remember
Nobody's.
Vin- do you
You're
remember
not allowed
Carter
to
at
blaze
40?
up Kobe after the freaking Celtics game with the terrible fake flop. You're not allowed to do it.
I understand. He got
He's
barely
a horrible
grazed.
person with
horrible-
the flopping and all that, but he's a good basketball player.
Fine.
Like if you take his personality and all the antics out of it, like pure basketball, I mean he's been dominant for so
But
many
then
years.
that's when
Like,
you
he's
bring
still
in
dominant. He's like 45
that's-
years old.
That's when you bring in Charles Barkley versus Perkins and ESPN, where Charles is
Oh, I
shitting on his future
love
employer, and he's stop talking about LeBron, stop talking about LeBron versus Jordan debates, talk about all the other
Stop
teams, talk
having
about
some guy named Speed come
Yeah.
on ESPN and
talk about
OKC
OKC and the Cavs and all these other
Harden
great
having
teams.
50 or two
Yeah.
teammates going for 40 or the Wizards actually not being terrible
or the Mavericks having 7 healthy basketball players on their team. Anything except for LeBron.
And it's ESPN is doing 3 hits an hour on the Warriors and the Lakers and like as if these the only 2 teams.
Terrible. It's terrible. The whole network needs to go.
Well, but it is true. It is true. The NBA has become a little bit more watchable.
Barkley,
with the Warriors and the Lakers being good.
Yes, but the pundits are worse.
Yes,
Of
because
course,
they
yeah.
won't expand
Except the
horizons.
TNT crew. I love that Chuck called out ESPN and was like, I can't believe. I mean, you guys watch that clip? I should have.
Yes, fantastic.
I can't believe we have to go over there and do and work with those guys. Basically, he's basically I don't want to work with them. Like they don't actually watch basketball. They're just talking about the same 3 things. And like he's right. He's right.
Yeah.
Like go back 10 years. Go back 15 years. Go back to when ESPN. I saw this. It was a great back and forth on it was a subreddit on ESPN Reddit about like when was peak Sports Center. Peak Sports Center to me was like mid 2000s, right? With Stuart Scott and Kenny Mayne and all the guys before they passed away, RIP or went crazy. Even guys like Oberman, like when he was just sports. That was peak Sports Center. It was an hour-long show, 45 minutes of highlights and 15 minutes of commercials right? But like when they were on TV, it was the cool backdrop and the one liner.
Must watch. It was the
was
the
so
ding
good.
that everybody made their ringtone.
FP, it was so good. We would watch it on a loop the entire morning.
It's true.
Right. And now you've got fresh new content every 2 hours with Get Up and Sit Down and Talking Head 1 and Talking Head 15. Nobody watches any of that garbage. We watch SportsCenter on a loop for 6 hours a day.
To be fair, they were kind of the only. They were the only network back then, right?
No, that's not true. Fox
you didn't really have FS1
or Fox
not as easily available.
Damn sports show. Period. We had the George
NFL
Michael
Network didn't exist.
You had you had other shows too. You had all the local stuff like Comcast Sportsnet and all the other ones for every other city.
MLS brings up
HTS, baby.
MLS brings up his UPN 20 sports shows.
No, but out of all the ESPN shows, SportsCenter is actually a little bit watchable. Like with what's the guy's name? The bald DC guy. The guy now.
Scott Van Pelt.
Yeah, SVP.
Yeah,
but it's
he's
late
pretty
night
good.
SportsCenter.
It's
It's
late
not regular SportsCenter.
But even that used to be.
I only watch TV at late nights.
I actually wanted to
know.
Around the Horn. Do you remember when Around the Horn started? Like the early, not the Max Kellerman stuff, but like when Tony Reali took over. Tony Reali took that show over at 23 years old. He's 46 now, and the show is ending at the end of May. 23 years they've been doing that show.
And the talking heads that they had were so much better.
Oh, yeah. Jay Mariotti? Jay Mariotti and Woody Page, who I think is dead, RIP. Kevin Blackistone from The Post, Kalashaw from the concept was great, right? And it's like before
going from prime Around the Horn to prime PTI was like the best.
Peak
Around the Horn was
best.
was always mid.
No,
even in its peak,
I
PTI
love
was so much better.
When you had real pundits that got on there and raised good points, and like they would actually get in heated debates and use the shtick of the points and the muting. It was fantastic.
Because the original premise, if you recall, I should have pulled it. The super original opening that Kellerman had that transferred over to reality was these guys over here, and he would be pointing at Dallas, think that these guys over here, Bob Ryan in Boston, don't know anything about sports. So it was them arguing their points, not discussing the same point.
Yes.
Right. Like that was the key difference between that and like PTI.
It was like Crossfire.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that was a great show. And obviously, like nobody watches it now because the whole internet YouTube era is that show. This show is that show, right? It's 4 guys in a box, each in a box, talking about whatever the rundown is. So it's wild to think how far ESPN has moved away from highlight programming. And now, last thing I'll say about the NBA, did you see that they basically told the NBA they're not going to pay them the money they're owed? ESPN owes them something like $250 million a month or something based on the MLB TV rights package. And they were like, we can pay half. And MLB is like, what do you mean you can pay half? Like you pay your whole amount. And it's going to be a big thing. And it's because ESPN is spending $2 billion a season on the NBA. The NBA is not worth $2 billion. There's nothing marketable about it to make it worth $2 billion. I don't know.
I haven't seen those headlines. I haven't seen those.
Nothing's worth that outside of NFL.
Yes, I agree with that. I think that the rights packages are bananas, especially baseball. Like there's too many games, and I mean
they're too long. Yeah,
I mean we talked about it last week. Like the Nats finally getting to sell their own rights and putting a patch on their jerseys or whatever. Like okay, that's fine. I guess it'll be easier to watch them locally without.
Maybe they'll go on Apple TV and LP can watch them.
Yeah, I think LP would like that. I think yeah.
I like Nesson.
It's always there. You're the only one.
It's always there. Every game, it's there. It doesn't matter what time of day.
Would it surprise anybody if LP had to like adjust bunny ear antennas on a TV for him to watch?
None.
I'm not a cord cutter. What's wrong with cable TV?
Neither am I.
The sports package. And even the sports package on cable TV sucks now, though. It's like the sports package doesn't include NBA TV. It's a special package, and
everything's segmented.
It's annoying.
Any other sports topics before we kick off OMC?
You're gonna lose LP so fast.
I can't wait to cut him. Actually,
please cut me.
It's literally 5:00 in the morning. Like we have to wait for you, and then you show up late with your hookah, and I'm like, you just rolling in here casually.
Why did we? What do you mean the OG LP? Is there a new LP?
I don't know. I haven't been on the show for so long. There could be a new LP.
That's a great point too. Like, who would be the new LP?
Is it me? I'm gonna
The
become
tinfoil
LP.
hat guy.
You are. You're
the
LP.
captain, the voice of reason. None of those existed when I was here.
Well, I'm not gonna say
maybe I'm the old around the horn. This is the new one.
Thank you. Have a good night, LP. You're welcome to stick around if you want. If you don't want to, you just give me the finger and I'll pull you out. All right, boys. Do we need a break or can we power through? Can we go through?
Let's hit it.
Okay, so let's talk about this. I gotta be honest. I was excited about this last week. Okay, so for anybody that's coming in here, I'm gonna timestamp this. 55 minutes. If you want just OMC Off-Season Movie Club, 55 minutes. I'll make sure it's clear when I post the show. FP surprised us here, going with a classic, an actual classic. Andy hadn't seen it. I hadn't seen it in a long time. Count of Monte Cristo, 2002's Count of Monte Cristo. Let me give you the background, and then we'll jump into it. 7.7 out of 10 on IMDb. 61% from the critics, 74% from the audience on Rotten Tomatoes. The Bluff, classic story of an innocent man wrongly but deliberately imprisoned and his brilliant strategy for revenge against those who betrayed him. The dashing young sailor Edmond Dantes, played by Jim Caviezel, a.k.a. Jesus, is a guiltless and honest young man who cannot read and write, and that factors in, whose peaceful life and plans to marry his beautiful Mercedes, who I have many, many comments and thoughts on, are abruptly shattered when his best friend, Ferdinand, played by the amazing Guy Pearce, who wants Mercedes for himself deceives him. That's The Bluff, released in January 25 of 2002. And man, is it awesome. FP, it was your pick, so I feel like you should give us your kind of impression and your high level reaction to it first. Andy had never seen it, and I'll be honest, I hadn't seen it in a long time. I watched it twice, but after you, FP.
I mean, the story of Count of Monte Cristo, like you're talking like classic French literature, right? Like the story's been around for forever, and France holds the story near and dear to the heart. So they did a remake in 2024 in all French that also has amazing reviews. If anybody wants to do that, I didn't see the French one yet.
I mean, Off-Season Movie Club Foreign Edition would be.
I mean, the reviews for that one. But the thing is, the story, it's such an iconic story that even if you haven't watched the movie, you know the story that's coming, like the whole love, loss, revenge, all of it that comes with it. The thing is, like, it's just aged so well. Every time I watch it, and even though it's kind of like, for what it is, it's low budget, right? Like when you think about like what Gladiator was, what Harry Potter was, and all of these early 2000s, very low budget movie, but it's aged so well. And I actually said those two movies on purpose. Your priest, he was actually Dumbledore and Marcus Aurelius, in case you didn't realize that.
That's a big pull. I did not connect that.
Great cast for that movie. Jim Caviezel's fantastic. And the way he goes from he plays the bumbling idiot that you like is so innocently stupid in the beginning of the movie, to then seeing like the prison scene where you clearly see that he's learned and grown, to then seeing the like just suave revenge, the facial hair that he has when he comes out of the hot air balloon. Like he's just so slick. It's such a solid movie. It's such a fantastic
the vengeance that he like. I'm always the kind of person that likes to relate to movies, right? Like, you know, you have your sweetheart.
Why?
I don't know. You have your sweetheart, right?
Who are you getting revenge on?
Are you Mercedes?
And then you have like the envious, jealous crew that you came up with. I'm not saying it happened to me and stuff, but it's just like, I like to put myself in the shoes and just live the movie per se. And then for him to kind of like get hardened a bit, get wisdom, and then the vengeance that he
don't take away my
systematic vengeance. Oh, yeah. The scene that keeps coming to mind for me is that one where oh gosh, I can't even say his name. Villa, something. The guy with the V. He gets, he gets put in the old school police car jail. Cart thing.
After the sauna.
Early or late? Because
after the sauna.
Yeah, when he plants the gun and it's empty and he tries to kill himself, and he's like, "You think it was going to be that easy?"
It's such a good scene.
Don't worry about spoilers for a movie from 2002.
I'm not.
I forgot about spoilers.
That's true. I mean, So this is your first time watching it. I mean, did you sit down and just kind of go through it? Did you invite the wife to movie club, or did you just kind of do it on your own?
No, I kind of just did it on my own. Yeah, just did it on my own and kind of just like tried to, like I said, put myself in their shoes, like live the movie per se, and like go through the emotions. And like Paul said, the guy Edmund was like, you can even tell by the way he was talking. He was like very jolly, very like, soft spoken per se, and just kind of like frat boyish. I don't know.
I had no idea Andy was a thespian. He was putting himself
and
in,
then,
in the film.
Like Paul said, he became like so like the way he spoke and like so like kind of like dark per se. Like he was just like you could see the transformation. The excellent.
Do you
acting.
feel yourself getting like drawn
actor.
into the movie, and you're like
yeah.
You
I mean, isn't that the point of movies?
Yeah, you suddenly become like laser. Like there's a moment like. And you almost need to like find a way to identify like when you go from like, all right, let me check out this movie to when something snaps and you become laser focused, right? And I think for all of this, it's when it's like, 80s montage, like when the priest comes and he's like, I'll teach you. And then you're like, okay, yeah, now here's the plot. It's if you think about it, like so many movies have sprung off of the classic literature of Count of Monte Cristo. More or less, this is Karate Kid, right? Like everybody has seen this movie. All of your 80s montages.
Yes.
It's all coming from classic literature like that.
Well said. FP, did you watch this solo? Did you invite somebody over? Was it guys' night?
Watch it. It's such a good movie.
So notable other movies from 2002. Just give me, just kind of keep in mind. Like I'm going to ask you, like where does Count of Monte Cristo rank against some of these other heavy hitters from 2002? High Crimes with Morgan Freeman, Dinotopia. Yeah, whatever. Changing Lanes with Sam Jackson and Ben Affleck, or Travolta. Sorry. Riders, Murder by Numbers, Unfaithful, Killing Me Softly, The Pianist, Signs, Blue Crush, We Were Soldiers, Minority Report, James Bond's Die Another Day, and then the one that maybe for me, out of all those, K-19 is a pretty phenomenal movie, but the one movie for me that I would say, if I was going to pick 3 out of this list and watch again circa 2002, it's Count of Monte Cristo and Ghost Ship. Have you boys seen Ghost Ship?
No.
So
I have not.
All right. So that might be the next one I pull. It's like a horror drama situation. When it's my turn, I might go back to this well. But I'll tell you, for me, like looking at the cast of Monte Cristo, and FP, you already said this, there's no way you get Caviezel, Pierce, and a very young Superman, right? Which I completely like. When I saw him on the screen, I was like, "Why is that guy look so familiar?" Yeah, it's like, how does he look? Why does he look so familiar? I mean, Superman is 14 or 15 in this movie, but 16, 17, whatever he was, like late teenage years. He crushed it, right? Like you could almost see, right, that he was like he's not the polished actor, that he is today, but Superman is in this movie and plays a pivotal role in 3 different scenes, right? In Rome, where he gets captured, right, or he's set up and then fake captured and rescued. At the quinceañera or whatever, like the male equivalent of a
Mardi Gras, whatever.
Yeah.
The masquerade
and then obviously at the very end, right, where he comes in and fake dad and real dad, and he's kind of caught in the middle. But the overall cast is phenomenal, right? I mean, I don't think there's a single cast member that was inappropriately, or you would say, like, this is the criticism I make of a movie like Heat, and everybody gets mad at me when I say this. Heat's amazing. Heat's one of the best movies of all time.
Oh yeah,
that classic, whatever. There's one change I would make to Heat, and everybody gets pissed at me. The bad guy and the good guy should be reversed. De Niro and Pacino should be reversed. And everybody, that you're insane, it's a perfect film. Like, what are you talking about? That's my opinion. I'm going to stand by it. Pacino plays a better bad guy, and De Niro plays a better good guy. They got it backwards in this movie. That's just my opinion. In this one, I'll tell you, the one standout actor for me in this movie was Jacopo. I love Luis Guzman.
Oh yeah, he's great.
So perfectly cast from the very beginning, and I'll give them, like, there's some leeway here, right? Like,
you are my man forever,
right? On like, he's having a knife fight with him, and then 2 seconds later, he's like, I'm your beef for the rest of life. Like, whatever you need, I'm your guy. He dabbles in his affairs, right, with Mercedes in the wagon, and it gets a little weird, and him and Caviezel have like this, and Edmund have this like thing. But I want to talk about Mercedes. Just two seconds, and then I'm done. She is currently, her name is Dagmara. I don't know if you guys looked her up. Her name is Dagmara. She hasn't done a ton of stuff. This is her most notable work. At the time of filming this, she was 23.
Beautiful.
Yes.
It's The Voice.
She's still beautiful now.
Yes.
At near 50 years old, she still looks incredible. But that performance, and I know people are going to get upset at this, like, she's very busty and it's very in your face the entire movie. It's part of the character. She is a brilliant actor.
Yeah.
Like, brilliant. The way, like, her tonation and the scene where she sees him and they lock eyes at the Mardi Gras thing.
When he's curling his hair.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like before that, when she lays eyes on him and the way she just like, are you a ghost here to torment me? Like, that's the line that just, I was like, rewind. I want to watch that again. Like,
so many good lines in the movie
perfectly
too.
played. She is phenomenal in this movie. Honestly, the entire cast is awesome. I mean, Guy Pearce is stunning from start to finish.
He's
Maybe
fantastic.
over dramatized a little bit with his movements and such, but it's perfect. Even at the beginning scene, FP with Danglars and what's his face, the guy that owns the shipping company that eventually gets pushed out, who comes back in later on.
The guy,
Senor Morales. Yeah,
Morales,
right? Like, even like all of it is just played out really well. And just one more, Luigi Vampa. Very small, very powerful role. A la one of my favorite scripted characters, Johnny Drama in Entourage. Perfectly timed little, these little pieces of Luigi Vampa come in. I love this movie. I love this movie, boys. I'm really glad we watched it. I actually watched it twice. Is that good? Once with the wife and once without. I got really annoyed because the second time I was watching it on my phone while I was doing something, and calls kept coming in. I was like, why am I doing this to myself? And I switched to the TV. But I'll FP was your movie, so I'd like you to give the ranking first, and then we'll go to Andy.
What was our scale again? 0 to 5 with halves? 1 to 5 with halves.
We said a 1 to 5. 0. I think we should have zeros. This was a comment that came in after last week's show. We do need zeros, meaning it was so bad I didn't finish it. Right? 1 is, whatever. Like, it was just a bad movie.
Can we get a recap of what we gave Forgetting Sarah Marshall?
Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
3.5. You had it at a 4.
I had it at a 4. I believe Andy had it at 4, and I believe I don't remember.
Steve gave it 3.5. I think.
Yes, I believe so. We agreed that 3 is something you would casually recommend to somebody if they just wanted a rom-com or something to laugh through, whereas a 5 would be like, hey, stop your life, go rent this right now and watch it. And I think we do need a 0. 0 meaning it's so bad I just turned it off. Glitter. Or
I'll tell you what. I mean, me personally, I'm giving it a 4 because it's been one of my all-time favorite movies, and it is one that everyone is like, what's your, like, I hate when like you go on dates or whatever and like, what's your favorite blah blah blah. Like, I'm not a guy that has favorites, but when it comes to like what's your favorite movie, that's one that I'll typically pull because I know it's one that not a lot of people have seen, but they should stop and probably watch this movie. It is really good. So with that, I'm going to give it a 4.
Also, I would imagine this is a very good like come over date night or night with the wife type movie because there's enough stages in the progression of the story where it's like you kind of know what's happening at the beginning. You can kind of get distracted in the middle with the priest and whatever if you want to, and then you pick it up and it's action to the end, right? It moves. It's really
also
it moves
perfect length. Like it's what movies should be. They didn't go a scene too long or anything. They got it all done in a respectable amount of time.
Brilliant film. All right, so we got a 4 from FP. Andy, where are you scoring this one?
I went back and forth because it's a completely different movie than Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Completely different, like mindset.
Yeah,
different
of course.
Yeah,
that's the whole point of OMC.
No, but I had to course correct the ratings. I feel like we do need to have categories. Didn't we touch on this last week?
Who were you in, like, when you put yourself in Forgetting Sarah Marshall? Which character were you?
No, I mean, I'm always the main character.
Oh, yeah. Right. Clip it. Okay.
So if I'm putting this in its own category, I'm also going to give it a solid 4.
4. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, solid 4 in its category. I think Monte Cristo, solid 4 in its category. And I think I'm just going to stick with 4. I have nothing more to add, really. I thought it was a good show. I know what I wanted to say. It's probably going to piss everybody off, but I'll say it anyway. The way that I would describe the movie for myself personally is entertaining time waster.
Totally fair. That's what a lot of movies are.
Okay, it's okay. I mean,
Yeah, but a lot of movies are like that.
I
Exactly.
think this
Exactly.
belongs on almost everyone's watch list, regardless of
Yeah.
what genre of movie, because of the background and the story, and like this is something many of us read as part of our English literature or literature class way back when. To see it come to life, I don't remember caring for it in 2002 or in like the era when it came out. This is something that I came to much later. But honestly, anytime I see this pop up or it's recommended to me on the Hulu or Netflix algorithm, I would have no problem popping it on. It's too long for network TV. It's too involved. The characters are too it's not something you're gonna find on like a TNT randomly on a Saturday.
Wait, I want to correct what I said. Is an entertaining time spender.
Time spender. Okay, time spender.
It's one of those $2.99 bargain bins. Like if you see it sitting at the top of all the DVDs.
Oh, I would spend.
That's a grab.
I would spend $5 to get this in 4K and have it like available for 4K to watch through my Xbox or something. Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna rate this also at a 4. I was going to go a little bit higher, but I'm not going to for 2 reasons. It's a little bit long, and if you haven't read the book or if you don't have any background, like to me, this belongs. I don't want to create a bunch of categories, but it's very similar to me in like The Great Gatsby. The movie is amazing because you know the story and you see it come to life. If you have no context of the Count of Monte Cristo, I love what you said, FP. You've already seen this movie 100 different times. It's the karate. It's every, rando character with a terror arc and then a resolution. Anytime it's on, I will watch it. If anybody's like, hey, let's recommend a movie, I'm gonna go home, watch it with my girl or my whatever. This is an easy one to pop on. I think there's not a lot of comedy in it, but it moves along. Even though it's long, it moves along pretty well. I'm happy at a 4. I think it's a solid film. If you haven't seen it, you should. At least once. Who's up to pick the next one? I think it's Andy's turn to pick, and I'm a little concerned. I got to be honest, because this could be like the Garfield movie. This could be glitter. Like he could be trolling. This could be a troll bit. Like what are we watching next week?
I've gone back and forth between 2 movies. I don't think you guys would like one of them as much as this one.
Oh, you feel the troll job coming. I just feel it.
No, it's not a troll job. This is a great movie. It's actually probably my top 3. It's top 3 in my book.
Top 3 all time
for me
movies.
You have to understand who I am. It's top 3 for me.
So it's a movie that we can submerge ourselves into.
Yeah, FP, do you have a guess? It's gonna be my
I'm looking at it. You said it's on Max. I kind of want to see if I can get into the mind.
Give me a clue. Yeah, give me a clue. Give me the headliner. Who's first bill?
No, I can't. You're gonna get it. You're gonna get it anyway. Spacey. Kevin Spacey.
The Negotiator.
No.
American Beauty, because you're a pervert.
No.
No, I can do this.
I'll clip that.
Same year as Heat.
Same year as Heat with Spacey. Not Negotiator, not American Beauty. Did I already guess that?
Oh, wait. You said it last show.
I did.
No, wait. Same year as Heat.
He said it last show.
Heat was 1995.
I got it.
Go.
Paul got it.
Usual Suspects.
The Usual Suspects.
Okay.
You said that last show.
Have you seen that one, Joe?
I'm gonna do a bit and say I saw it a long time ago because I don't remember if I've seen it.
I don't think I've seen it. I don't think I've seen it.
Let's go, boys. I'm hyped. Usual Suspects. You can stream it on Max. I already checked.
Okay.
I'm excited.
Top 3?
Top 3 for me. It's that good in my book.
Am I allowed to still have a soft spot for Kevin Spacey because of how good House of Cards was when it started?
And The Negotiator. And American Beauty.
Am I allowed to? He's such a good actor.
Ignore all the stuff about him and just like watch the movie.
Okay.
Even Baby Driver, fantastic.
I mean, I don't know if you could be like rah-rah in the streets for him.
No, but I mean, I can enjoy all of his previous works innocently.
Yeah.
It's not like I can't go listen.
You can't.
Yeah, I can't go listen to Diddy music.
But you can listen to Michael Jackson. So
yeah, so he's kind of in that category.
Yeah, I'm just saying, why can you listen to one but not the other?
Because Michael Jackson was really good at what he did. Kevin Spacey was a really good actor. Diddy kind of sucks.
House of Cards. I mean, there's no way we'd do shows because it's way too long. But It was a really good show when it came.
It put Netflix on the map.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree. Okay, Usual Suspects. We're locked in for next week. Usual Suspects. We got to make sure the boys are aware so we can watch it. And we said it's on
Max.
On Max. Is it leaving like tomorrow? Like, is this like a go watch it right now situation?
I gotta go check. I just know it's on Max.
It's happened to us before.
I did throw out a movie last week that I was the Rock, just because I saw it on Hulu. It popped up on my algorithm. You boys ever seen that one?
That's a fantastic one.
Yeah. Oh, Andy, never seen The Rock.
No, with Nick Cage, yes, you have.
Possibly Nick Cage's best movie. FP, would you disagree? Possibly his best movie?
It's up there with Con Air, but
don't be
I'll give the edge to The Rock because it's a better supporting cast.
Connery, amazing.
Yeah.
Also, if you're looking for a new show to watch, speaking of Hulu, Paradise.
I heard.
Paradise is the guy living in a shelter bunker thing. I watched one episode.
It has a little bit of politics, a little bit of.
If you guys haven't seen, I'll do anything for like 1 or 2 episodes and just kind of feel it out.
I mean, Joe already quit on Severance. I already know that.
I can't. It's too painful. It's too stupid.
That's what I said about Slow Horses. Couldn't do it.
But at least Slow Horses had like some, it was going somewhere. Severance, I have no idea. Like, you're just punishing me by making me watch my job every day. Like, what am I doing here? I can't do this.
Touche.
Have you watched Suits 3 yet?
I did not. Is that out? Is that out right now?
Yeah.
I'll do that right after the show.
Did you watch Suits 2?
I watched Suits 2.
What did you think?
It was closer to the Suits we know and love because they hit on the legalese a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I didn't have so many.
It was still really
stupid flashbacks, many flashbacks, but it got a little. I still don't know how I feel about the cast.
They are cramming multiple episodes worth of storyline into 30 seconds of dialogue consistent.
Yeah.
It's a very tough watch.
There's no slow burn with the cases.
No, it's not pleasant. Not pleasant. Well, boys, I think we've covered everything. This is a big fatty of an episode. Thank you for making time. I know it's late, but thank you. I'm gonna get this cleaned up and posted. FP, any final thoughts from you, sir?
Yeah, no more waiting for LP to get on the mic.
That was rough, man.
If he can't make it earlier, just say goodbye to LP and his MLS hat.
I mean, I feel bad, but I can't do this. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't. I know it's light, longer, and whatever, like daylight savings. By the way, if they can, I don't care what. Everyone has opinions on Doge and Elon and Trump and everything. If they can cancel the change back in the fall, just leave it where we are now, I would be very, very happy personally. Andy, final thoughts?
Final thoughts in the form of a question. Are the Rams offense with Devontae Adams going to be top 5 next year?
Yes.
No. Top 5?
What does FP know about? You don't know anything.
Save it for next show.
You don't know anything. This is around the horn. This guy doesn't know anything about sports.
If Joe says something, you always take the opposite answer.
Somebody said that in the chat, and I legit laughed.
I said it.
Laughed out loud. I was
like, Joe hates this move. It's a good trade.
Well, thank you, boys, for making time. This is a great show. We ran a little long, but it's a fatty for all the fans, and they'll enjoy it. Count of Monte Cristo is a 4 across the board. Go watch it if you haven't. Next week we are back. I'm sure there's more free agent talk. We'll do an Alex Ovechkin update on goal count. We'll do look around the NBA, look around the NFL as well. And I think we get pitchers and catchers reporting later this week as well. So we'll see if we can get Maddie in here, Matt the Met, and Stevie to talk a little baseball. Until next week, the show is DTC Defeating the Curse, available on all platforms live when we record. So you can watch on YouTube, you can watch on X, you can watch on Facebook. You can stream it back 15 minutes after we're done on basically every platform. As soon as I get it posted, it's up and available for consumption and comment. If you want to email the show, defeatingthecurse@gmail.com. Anonymity is guaranteed. I appreciate all the feedback on Movie Club. It will continue. And for next week, Andy's pick, The Usual Suspects. Till then, we are out.